Hey Flosstube! Welcome back. My name is Tamara and you've found my Flosstube channel, Lit Cat Stitches. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy that you've decided to try and give my channel a look. And if you're returning, thanks so much. It really means a lot that you're here again. I'm so excited to share what I've been up to for about the last month and a half. And I can't wait to delve into all of the projects I've been working on because there's quite a few. So if you haven't been here before, there are quite a few new followers. Thanks so much. I thought maybe this would be a good time to give a little bit of info about me in case you haven't seen any of the earlier videos. My name is Tamara and I live in New Jersey. I have lived on the East Coast for over 20 years, but I'm originally from Idaho. I'm a mom. I have a 7-year-old son. He is autistic and he's the light of my life. He's wonderful. I've been married for going on 15 years in December, and he's also wonderful. And I've been stitching for 13 years now, 14 years going on, but I've always been very crafty. I was crafty as a kid. I loved doing all sorts of hand arts like rug hooking and crocheting and like yarn weaving, making bookmarks, that kind of thing. When I was a younger teen, I was, very into collage and arts and painting. I've been very musical my whole life. I play several instruments. I work currently as a project manager for a large university hospital, and I am approaching 40. Last year in my 30s. So yeah, if there's anything else you want to know, let me know. I never know what to say with these things, so leave a comment. Happy to tell you a little bit more about myself. For today, for the video, we have got 5 new starts. I've got some updates on August stats, whip go calls that were done, and then a number of whips that I worked on for the last month and a half, and then a little bit about plans. So I typically don't do haul. I did get quite a bit from Needlework Market. A lot, if I'm gonna I just wanted everything. It was also good this year. But we're gonna start with starts. So like I said, I had 5 new starts. So the first one I've got is Celtic Banner. This is a Butternut Road chart. So it's an oldie, Butternut Road, and this is, oh, it's upside down. This is what it looks like. So sorry for the glare. It's like a, a photograph. It's one long banner, and it's beautiful. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it. I got it in a D-stash site, one of the Facebook groups. It uses DMC and Karen, what was it, water lilies? I have to open up this old school chart to try and, wildflowers, Karen Wildflowers. And this is in a Joanna 1966 bag. You can find her on Etsy. I love her bags. I have a lot of them. The fabric is a special fabric. It's a 29 count cotton field Scottish Glenshee, which is hand dyed and custom cut specifically for this chart. I found this like 2 months after I found the chart in a separate D-stash from a different person. It was absolutely meant to be. The fabric is about 1 mile long. but I've made a really good start. So this is the top, and it's beautiful. The all of this brown is one of the wildflowers, and then this is DMC in the corners. So this is as wide as it'll be, so lots of room on either side. And it's gorgeous. It's actually two wildflowers colors now that I think about it. I'll just a little scarf action here. These are the wildflowers colors. It's Black Forest and Cedar. And then these are the rest of the colors. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm really enjoying it. It's not particularly hard stitching, a little bit of counting, you know, but once you get into the, like with any border for the most part, right? You get into the rhythm. The hardest part was trying to figure out the ups, downs, and overs of this weave, and there's still some that's missing. You can see this isn't all finished yet, but it's really, really cool. All right. So that was start number 1. Start number 2 was something I bought for Marketplace last year, I think, or maybe it was winter. I didn't think of where to put these when I was done. I thought of most other things, so I'll put that up there. The next one I started though was Bobbin from Stacy Nash. Where's my chart? It's one of the animal crackers. Little mouse. I do have the spool. I do plan on finishing it just like that. I am using the mostly called for floss. Not the called for fabric though, did I write down? It's on parchment, 36 count. So this is his little tummy, tail. I know the tail colors are, the pinks are not what's called for. Coming up, I think this is part of the arm. So a little ways to go. It's not terribly big. A little bit of counting because there's a couple different colors of browns, but very fun. This is another Joanna 1966 bag. And I have my other animal crackers that I want to do in here. So, you know, eventually I'll have a whole menagerie of animals. The next thing I started, I've got an overflowing box over here, was a kit for full coverage that I got from Thread Geeks. It is the Kitchen Witch crop. It'll look like this. I just love, like, there's all these cats hanging around and she's cooking up a storm and the kitchen just looks very cozy. And, sorry, the finished design is 360 by 333 and the artist is Bill Bell. Give you a look again. I stitched my full coverage in Pattern Keeper. I am using the kit fabric, which is an 18 count white Aida. Not my preference, but I am enjoying it. And I did an upper left corner start. I am parking I am stitching block by block diagonally, so this is my next block to stitch. What can I say? It's 2 threads over 1 square full cross, so nice and full, and you can see that it does look very nice and full even on the camera. Little time consuming, but I think the effect is going to be really nice. So I have started a bunch of other full coverage charts. This one grabbed me right away because I was instantly stitching a thing. You know, I mean, maybe not this first block, but by like block 2, I'm like, oh, I'm stitching the top to this bottle, and this is like a towel, and this is the side of a cabinet, and that's been really, really nice. This is a Nurge hoop. I think I had a question about that. These are Smart and Cool magnet clips here to hold my thread. My needle minders are probably all from Mad for Minders, except this one. This is an Al Forest embroidery magnet. It's a little snail. So yeah, I think just peek out in between. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it, and can't wait to get to one of the kitties. The first kitty I'm going to get to is this little void right here. All you can see is the little eyes. So, eyes and a nose. I really enjoy how Thread Geeks package their full coverage charts. It's the first time I've ever bought a kit, but there were a lot of ninja stitches, right? So just 1 stitch in a square, and then I'd be like tying the thread off, and managing those additional like extra strands was annoying. So I went ahead and put everything on the Paco thread organizers. So who is this bag by? This one I don't remember. If I remember, I will put it below here. Okay. I've got 2 more new starts. So the next one is Flower and Friends by Liz Matthews. This is actually a restart. I had gotten this as part of her Patreon last year. She just released it, I think, and I saw it and I remembered, oh wait, I started that. What was wrong with it? And what was wrong with it is that I was doing 2 strands over 32 count on 32 count Lugana, and the house is like really full coverage. These I had gotten down here, I was doing these, and they were really full and like really pushing off the fabric, and I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't enjoying how it looked. I wasn't enjoying stitching it, so I restarted it. And now I'm here. This is on, wait for a second, do I have a note card? It tells me hopefully what it is. 28 count Heartland by Picture This Plus. So it'll be a little bit bigger, but I went to the house and I'm stitching 2 strands over 2 threads, and I'm enjoying it a lot more. It's all the called for floss, except my gray is a Color and Cotton over dye. Okay. And I love this chart. I love the colors of it. I love the spookiness of it. It's good fun. And the last new start I had was from, that's my dog, sorry. Looking for a comfy spot to sit. The last new start I had was from Creepy Cross Stitch, which is from Lindsay Swearingen. She's the designer between Tuscan Cardinal. And I started Dead Berries, which is a little ghost cat and some strawberries. I'm stitching mine on a 20 count Aida by Fiber on a Whim Night Sky with the called for DMC. So it's a little, that green does blend a little bit, not quite as much in person as it is on the camera if I bring it closer. So I can't wait to get little ghost cat in. I did his outline. All right, those are the new starts. Did I need that many new starts? Yes, yes I did. Okay, so next, let's talk about WIPGO. So WIPGO in August, I had 2 calls. One was for Needleworker 2 by Little House Needleworks. It looks like this. My WIPGO is always for 1,000 stitches or 10 days, depending on the piece. Those 1,000 stitches are easy, or sometimes it's just a slog to get through those 10 days. This one wasn't so bad. I did it in a couple of days, so. This is on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I put a lot of work in. If I showed it recently, I probably did. It looked like this. The things I did, I know all of this is new. I added some to the roof. I think these berries are new. I think I mostly worked in this area. I'm using mostly the called for DMC, or I'm sorry, overdyed, except, I think actually that's a lie. I think I'm lying to you. It's not the called for. This is a complete conversion. Sorry. So mostly Roxy Floss Co. So my black is Vampish. The dark brown is Chocolate Ganache. The orange is called for. That's Brandied Pears by Classic Colorworks. The blue of the house is Pebble Beach. The purple of the berries is Hussy. The white is Cheesecake, and it's got a little bit of a blue tone, purple tone to it. And then the green is Color and Cotton Mandolin. So let me show that again to you. Now that I've lied to you. So I'd like to finish it this year. I think I can do it. It needs some more real work. There's words, there's a top border. But it's not impossible. All right, next whip from WIPGO is Thurza Priscilla Dawes from Hemlock and Rye. My poor, pitiful little printed copy. Comes in 2 colors, sort of the bright and then the aged version. I'm doing the bright. I'm doing a full sulky conversion of my own making. It's on 32 count Oaken Lugana. And, oh, it's getting big. This is where we are. I put 1,062 stitches into this one. Where did I work? The name is new at the bottom, so started the name. I think everything under that bird above the name is new. That flower pot. I filled in some other things. What did I do? Oh, I continued filling in the bird. Let me just make this a little more manageable. I continued filling in the bird. So this is what it looked like before in the last video. And this is what it looks like now. A little side-by-side action here. But yeah, it's looking so beautiful. I'll bring it out a little bit. The colors are so bright and so vivid. Some of it's tone on tone, like there's a dog on that boat, and it is riddled with personalizations. Some of them, most of them on accident. But the great thing about these like overstuffed samplers is not too far off, you can make it work. So having a lot of fun with that one. This is in Dot Dot Goose Bag. Okay, so that's it for Whip Go. The next thing I have for you is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 whips. A little bit of August stats. So if you're curious, I have stitched in August 9,088 stitches, and I had 2 days where I didn't stitch at all. That's a little low for me, though around the average. I tend to average around 10,000 to 12,000 stitches. Why was August low? Well, it was really busy at work. Those 2 no-stitch days were weekend days, so those were big days of stitching. And yeah, you know, it happens. It's life. So let's talk about the whips. So for some of these, when they're in Pattern Keeper, I have exact numbers for you of, you know, how much I've stitched. Others, if it's a paper pattern, I just guess, I will count around how many stitches I can get with a length of thread, and then I count the lengths of thread. So the next pattern I have is Bird Nerd from Boomerang Stitches. It will look like this, and I am stitching this in a floss conversion to mostly Bestitch Me silks that have seen better days. But I am using Ecru 3799 and 832 DMC. I just didn't have good silks that approximated those colors, and I especially like the 832. I really love that color. So I am stitching it on. That's a good question. 32 count, picture this plus something. Ale, maybe? Can't remember. This is where we're at now. This is what it looked like before. I've put 695 stitches in this since my last video. Where did those stitches go? All over here. It definitely worked in the bird over here. It's 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. Stitching with 2 strands of silk is interesting. I think the stitches look pretty neat. Let's see if it'll focus. Maybe not that close. There you go. I think the silk takes a little less effort to lay nicely when it's 2 strands. I'm not working as hard because the silk is a little slipperier. What else can I say? The cotton is a little grabbier, right? So it tends to grab to itself. It tangles more, right? It's twisting. The silk slides nicely. So looking forward to getting this one. It is on very tight margins. This is a scrap. I think this is the other piece from my greetings from the season's greetings from the Fox family from Frosted Pumpkin. I think this is the other half of the fabric. So making do with a scrap here. I wish I knew the bag designer from this. I know this is Tallulah Pink, is that her name? The fabric designer? I forget. Can't remember who made the bag though. Very, very well made. Next thing I worked on, pardon my reach as I'm digging in this bin over here. This is in a vintage owl lady bag. Not because it really goes with what's inside, but because what's inside is big. Well, not big, but is going to be big. I worked on All the Hills Echoed by Blackbird Designs. Last time you saw it, it looked like this. I'm stitching these all together. So all 9 charts on 40 count Ren with all of the called for floss. I put 290 stitches in this, and I know a lot of it was fill in for these flowers and like the sort of tone on tone for the fabric, so you can't really see it. And then I did bring the bottom peacock up a little bit. So still quite a bit to go. It's back. I mean, it has a picture, but not as good. I am still enjoying it. I've just been distracted by other things. You know, when you start something new and you're really gung-ho and then something bright and shiny always happens. The next thing I worked on is Sleepy Hollow. This is by Hair and Needle. There's not a very good mock-up picture of it here. So this is just the rendering. It's not a stitched copy. I got this off of Etsy. I believe this chart is still there, last time I looked. I am stitching this on 30 or 35. 35 count old Salem by Primitive Hair with floss conversion. Calls for DMCs. I did some over dyed. I wanted a little bit of the variegation, and this is where we're at. So what did I do? Last time you saw it, it was probably in the whip parade. I haven't worked on it in a while. It looked like that. So the moon, I started putting in the moon. I've definitely filled out the dress. There's 2 stitches missing right there, so it looks a little funny. I have to fill them in. I put in her arms, I think, which is tone on tone, but it's her skin tone, so it's fine. She's very pale, so it's all good. I put 600 stitches in that. Next is Summer Sampler by Prairie Schooler. It looked like this last time you saw it. And it will look like this when it's done. I'm doing the middle one. This is not the cardstock, it's a reprint, so don't panic that I folded an original. So I'm doing this middle one. And what did I do? I only put like 300 stitches into this, but I know I finished the R and I worked on the E, and I think I brought this up. All of the beautiful work I'd done before is rolled up, but that's okay. It's not a wet parade. You don't have to see the full thing. This is in progress. This is on, you might want to know, 28 count mushroom Lugana. And I do have a plan to do the other ones as well. So. And that's why I chose a fabric I would be able to easily get that wouldn't be hard to match a dye lot. Next thing I worked on is Hummingbird Garden by Carolyn Manning. This is a sow that's going on. I don't have a good picture. So this is what it will look like when it's done. It's in the Just Cross Stitch magazine. I believe 3 parts have come out now. Do I have the 3rd part printed? I don't see the 3rd part here. That's okay. I believe the 3rd part was just printed in the autumn issue. So the winter issue should have the last part. I am doing, it calls for Anchor? No, Sullivan's. It calls for Sullivan's thread. So I did a DMC and overdyed floss conversion. Just bright, happy colors. Last time you saw it, it looked like this. It's on a 28 count white Lugana, and I have finished the first section. So this is the new mandala section here. Let me bring it in for you. And it's beautiful. I know I finished up this one and then I did this one, and I put in 615 stitches, and that doesn't include the back stitch, which I generally don't count. It's beautiful. It's a little hard to see. There's some yellow stitches at the end here, but that's okay. I haven't yet filled the centers, so the centers call for a metallic Sullivan's floss. I have some metallic Krennic threads, and I also have Petite Treasure braid. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet. It calls for the same one for all of the, that's a needle, for all of the thread, for all of the mandalas, but I want to figure out what would look best. It's really beautiful though. It's unlike anything I've ever stitched before. And I really enjoy it. It's a lot of color changes. So the way I handle it, if you're curious, is, so let's say I was starting this one again. So I finished this one, so I would start here because it's the easiest place to count, and I make a beeline for the center. And then once I get to the center, I can build out. And then when I'm, you know, even though there's a lot of color changes, I can typically count to the next thing. Ooh, I just noticed I'm missing the yellow stitches on that flower. So it's not done. Thank goodness for filming Flosstube. I probably never would have seen it. All right, hold please while I get that needle. 1 second. Got it. Okay. So that is Hummingbird Garden. A lot of fun. The next thing I worked on is Anton Uffenbell. This is in an Evertotes bag. Little zip, I didn't get it unzipped all the way. Anton looks like this. I am doing this in a hand-dyed fibers by Vicki Clayton silks. And I'm doing it on a 40 count R&R reproductions in American Chestnut. Last time you saw it, it looked like this. And now it looks like this. What did I do? Well, I don't remember if I talked about it in the last video or if it was the video before that. 1 second, please. But the colors that Vicki had done for the conversion for the central pot here were very, very like tone on tone, and I wanted a little bit more variation, so you can see kind of that there's a little bit more variation in the vase here. And so I had stitched quite a bit and then I picked it out, and that was not fun. I did not enjoy it. And then I have started restitching it in a different color that comes with the conversion. So I went with a lighter tone so that this darker tone stands out. So it's a little bit opposite of what is originally supposed to look like, but at least it's different. You know, the colors are different. And I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to do. And that was the answer. So I'm much happier with it. I don't think it's the most perfect solution because there's still some tone on tone, but I like it better than what it was. So if when I pull it again and I still don't like it, what I'll probably do is I will buy the called for Soie d'Alger, which I think is 4246, 42545, and stitch it with that. But so far, feeling better. Okay. The next thing I worked on is Plum Street Sampler, a quality sampler. We're in an election season. There's a woman running for president. And wouldn't be here without these ladies. So excited to exercise my right to vote, and excited to keep working on a quality sampler. I am stitching this on a 36 count Shrekie's Tan by Needle Bling Designs in the called for floss. And I have put 1,076 stitches in it. So this is what it looked like before. And this is what it looks like now. So it's a lot of work. I finished the over one in declaration. I put in the of. I think before I didn't have any of the blue in. I know these houses are new. I don't believe I had any of the flag in. Oh, and that reminds me, the blue is actually not the called for blue. The called for blue is Chesapeake. And I am using Wavy Navy. I didn't have Chesapeake, so I picked a nice deep blue. I did debate about changing the colors of the flag because they're a little bit more pink. But it does pull, I think it's just the aged sort of look of the flag, so I'm running with it. You know, these dogs nap all day at this time. And today is when they decide they have to be up and about. So, yeah, really enjoying this one. I was a little bit, I was stalled on this one for a little bit because filling in this flower took a lot. There's a lot of counting. So now that I've got, you know, some of this border in and stuff, I can start putting in shapes and filling things in. And one of the things I'm really enjoying doing with this piece is I put all of the thread colors into the Tiny Decisions app, and I let it pick what color I'm going to work on. Put in that full length of thread, and then I move on to the next. And so that's really helped me get some stitches in, because it's a lot of decision to pick what to work on. And then when you have a piece like this where you could work anywhere and it's all, you know, all over, I get a little, I don't want to make any more decisions. So this takes one of the decisions out of it, and I really enjoy being like, oh, what color am I going to work on next? Got a Phyllis Wheatley needle mindle up there. So really enjoying it. Really, I cannot wait to pull it out again. And you'll see it's still in the nerd hoop because every other day I'm pulling it out and working on it. So, all right. The next thing, there are three more whips. We're almost done. The next thing I worked on is in this So Much to Love bag. I worked on Black Cat Season by Lindy Stitches. I bought the kit from Lindy Stitches, so all of the called for floss on the called for fabric. Last time you saw it, it looked like this, because I only had this one, and now it looks like this. So I've started the second one, which is Black Cat Singing. This one here. I'm doing this as the bell pull, so I've got all the additional borders that you can get from Lindy Stitches website. So I put this one in, and I've got all the words in, I've got the fence in, and I'm working on putting the kitty cat and the music notes in. It's a big old piece of fabric. The called for fabric is 32 count Blackberry Latte by Grace Notes, if I didn't say already. It's beautiful. And it's nice. It's, you know, it's a limited color palette, and each block feels like a little finish. All right, I put 200 stitches in that, so not too much, but they're small, those little boxes. So the next thing is Cathedral Woods Goddess from Mirabilia, which looks like this. Last time you saw it, it looked like that. I'm using all of the called for floss. I'm doing it on a 32 count vellum by Picture This Plus. And I've started working on the dress. So I did a bottom left start on this one. So I started here, I came over, and now I'm working on the dress. So I put my krennic in as I'm going. I like to call I think this is like a garland of leaves, but these just look like big bananas to me. So I'm like, oh, finish another banana. Oh, there's a banana over here. So that's just the way my brain operates. So she's big. She's gonna be pretty big. But a lot of fun. And I've got the bead pack for that already. And I'm very excited to put some more work into her. And the last thing I worked on, I'm still working on it, I was working on it this morning, is Cat Tapestry by Tiny Modernist. And this is one where I am modifying each of the kitties to look like kitties that we've lost, me and my husband, so mine will look a little different. I am using 40 count Cypress by Fiber on a Whim. I'm using the called for DMC, but I've made changes for the cats, and instead of 3371, I went ahead and bumped it up to 310. So I finished Kelly. Well, it's our little Kelly belly. This is Finian. He's got his little nose in. And I've started working on Patty. She'll be here. And then Benny is going to go down here on the bottom. So Patty was a tortoiseshell tabby, and Benny was a full tabby. So a little bit harder. Making up the stripes as I go along, looking at pictures, trying to get the stripes in the right spot and the shell in the right spot. But I think it's looking really good. I put in 1,279 stitches in this since you saw it last. And a lot of that was finishing out Kelly. I had to do her tail. All of Patty is new. These flowers, this is filled in. This is new. Like this is new. Oh, this isn't called for. This is Mint Chip by Color and Cotton. But I'm so proud of it. I can't wait to finish it. I'm keeping it a secret from my husband. The cats, so Patty and Kelly were his cats that he had as kittens when I first met him. And then they became my cats when we got married. And then Benny was his cat that he had for the longest time, who I did know, but we lost him about 2 years into our marriage. And then Finian was my cat that I brought in against my husband's better wishes. I rescued him as a neonate kitten, hand fed him. And yeah, we miss them, you know? But those are all the cats of our marriage. So we still have one who's still alive. So he's not on this sampler, but he'll get his own sampler one day when he when he crosses the Rainbow Bridge, but hopefully not for a long time. So yeah, those are my whips. I've been busy. You know, 9,000 of those stitches were in August, but we're halfway through September, so that's at least another 4,500 stitches or something, right? If I'm averaging the same as August. So plans, we're an hour in, so I'm going to try and wrap it up under the hour, so it'll be brief. So for Whip Go for September, both of my letter calls were for Halloween Crystal Ball. By Tiny Modernist. It'll look like this. I'm stitching mine on a 40 count Fiber on a Whim silver. That's not right. No, it's a 40 count Fox and Rabbit Elephant Run. That's what it is. And I did my own floss conversion. And this is where we're at. I've put in, I think maybe like 200 or 300 stitches of the 2,000 I have to put in. So I've started putting in the pumpkin. I think I did a little, I started this. I brought the branch up. So a long ways to go. So I think a lot of my work for the rest of the month is going to be on this piece. And if I don't finish, it'll be the first Whip Go call I've failed. So I really want to get it done. I am not enjoying stitching it as much as I was before. I think the joy will come back, but it's not there right now. So a little bit like eating vegetables to get this one done. My plans, I have 2 starts that I want to do. I want to start Autumn is as Joyful by Leela's Studio. Oops. I believe Huga Stitcher, are you starting this one, or I can't remember. I'll put it below. I believe there's going to be a stitch along for this. I just can't remember. I didn't write it down. I think it's Huga Stitcher. I'm like 90% sure. So I want to start this. I haven't pulled fabric yet, but I've pulled all the floss. So I have fabric. I just need to go and find one I want to do. And the other one I want to start, and if I don't start it this month, I want to start it soon, is the new Crochet A Go Go Halloween sampler. Oh, it's so beautiful. There's pumpkins in the border. I haven't stitched a Crochet A Go Go yet, and I think this is going to be, I have like 7 of them. I think this is the one I'm going to start with. So I'm going to start this one. And then I also want to do some work on my samplers for Sampler September. So I'll probably pull out Anton Ufendel again. I'll pull out Jane Atkinson, Charlotte Warrington, and Anne Grimshaw. Anne Grimshaw I started last year in September for the Back to School sale. I think I'm just going to keep working on it for this Back to School because I just don't have time. There's so many beautiful things I want to start, but yeah, I think that's it. It's really nice to be back. Thanks for your patience as I was gone for the summer while my son was out of school. We had a really nice summer. It was stressful, but also relaxing. So that, you know, as summers with kids usually are. But yeah, I'm so glad to be here again, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more regular now that school's back in session. And I look forward to sharing all of my whips in the coming weeks. Yeah. Hope you have fun, enjoy every stitch, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Flosstube!